It's real talk. 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 Yeah. Welcome to Real Talk with your host, Chip Washington. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk.
And here we go on this Monday evening in the city. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's 6 p.m., which means it is time for an all-new live Real Talk Memphis. Glad to have you aboard with us on a beautiful, beautiful Monday. Wouldn't you agree? Yes, indeed. I am your program host. My name is Chip Washington. Nice to make your acquaintance. Nice to have you with us on this evening as well. Hope you had a wonderful day. Hope you had a good weekend as well. Weather-wise, man, okay, we went straight from the deep freeze to now we're in almost like springtime weather. It was like 70 degrees today. So here we go. Now I wonder how many folks are going to be in the hospital because you start dressing different when things like this happen. Brent, are we on Facebook Live tonight? I'm just before I said it, I just wanted to make sure if we are on this evening. But ladies and gentlemen, glad to have you with us on the big broadcast tonight. We have a great show for you as we always endeavor to do. But of course, one of the first things people want to know is how you get this fine piece of radio broadcasting. Well, I'm glad you asked. You can find us right now live on 91.7 WYXR. On your FM dial. Of course, we are broadcasting live there. You can also find us on the WYXR app. We are on the TuneIn app. And, of course, we are Facebook Live tonight. We are downloading Facebook Live this evening. And so you can check us out there if you choose to do so. And when the show posts in a couple of days, you can find us on YouTube. And we are available wherever it is you get your podcast. So if you're a big podcast person, and a lot of you folks are out there, you can also find us on that medium as well in the next couple of days. So we have a good show for you tonight. A lot of good information packed in this next 60 minutes or so. Emily Yellin is my first guest. And Emily is an author. She's a writer. She's been in the news game around here. A lot of folks know Emily. She has been around the beat for a while. Well, she has co-authored a new book on the life and legacy of Reverend James Lawson Jr., and we will talk a little bit about that. She actually co-authored it with him before he died. He transitioned in 2024. So she'll tell us about the book. She'll tell us why it is so important in terms of history, and especially as far as Memphis is concerned. He was one of the main architects in the sanitation workers strike back in 1968, right before Dr. King came down here to march for their rights. So I look forward to talking with her in just a few minutes. A little bit later on, how many of you people are organ donors? How many of you have thought about maybe being an organ donor? Well, I have a guest coming up. Her name is Stacy Hobson, and she is a living kidney transplant recipient, and she's the founder of an organization called Yield, Heal, and Thrive. Basically, she got a second chance at life. Not everybody does, and she will talk about her journey and being an organ recipient and why it is so very important for you to consider that. You don't have to do it when you're alive. You have a driver's license and there's a box on the back that says, hey, do you want to be an organ donor when you leave here? You can do something about that. So she'll talk about her journey and why it is so important for us to think outside of ourselves. So I look forward to that conversation because I don't know how many of you know or remember, I am an actual kidney donor. So I know both sides of the street on that one. So we can have a good conversation here coming up soon. And a little bit later on, we're going to talk to Brian Harris. Brian is the director of youth services for the city of Memphis, also a special assistant to Mayor Paul Young. And he's going to talk about the programs for our young people and a particularly great program. It is a job employment program called Employ. And he will talk about that. They're signing up kids right now. So if you want something for your kid to do during the summertime, you might want to listen into that segment. That's all a little bit later on in the broadcast. But first, of course, many of you are celebrating birthdays out there. You probably just had one over the weekend, or you have one coming up. Anyway, it's your trip around the sun, and we don't take that lightly around here at Real Talk Memphis. We always like to shout you out, as we have the theme that just popped up. But in any event, we like to do this little thing called a shout out. And we like to shout you out and let everybody know it's your birthday, and so they can call you and take you out for some cake and ice cream. But I can't do that until I say, hit it, Brent. There you go. Happy birthday going out to the following folks today. Happy birthday to Kevin Lightfoot. Kevin is the news director at WMC TV5 here in the city. Today's his birthday. Happy birthday to Eddie Brown. Tiffany Greer celebrating her birthday today, as is Tamika Hamilton and Chris Taylor. All those folks celebrating their birthday today. We, from all of us here at Real Talk Memphis, we wish you a very, very happy birthday. We hope today's been filled with love and laughter, and you had plenty of cake and ice cream and balloons and all that kind of good stuff. Of course, we here hope to be with you next year for your next trip around the sun. Happy birthday from all of us here at Real Talk Memphis. Thank you, Brand. So a couple of news and notes. Oh, by the way, a death to report. Barry Wilburn, many of you may or may not have heard of him. He is a former NFL player, and he's actually, as a Super Bowl champion for the Washington Redskins, he was the victim in a house fire that happened early Friday morning in Orange Mound. It happened last Friday. He succumbed to his injuries. He was only 55 years of age. So our sincere condolences go out to his family and his friends. Barry Wilburn, 55 years old, the victim of a house fire in Orange Mound. And some late news this afternoon. This is a big deal. You know how the county commission decided that certain members of the Shelby County School Board, the ones that were elected at the end of 2024, where they wanted to cut the term and have them fall under the county election cycle, which is this year. So instead of serving a 4-year term, that move would have given them a 2-year term, and they would have to run for re-election this year instead of having been elected for 4 years, being able to serve their 4 years. Well, that changed this afternoon, and the judge said, the chancellor said that you can't do that. And they ruled against the recent decision that would have shortened the terms of the 5 Memphis and Shelby County School Board members who were going to be up for election. That is Natalie McKinney, Stephanie Love, Tamarcus Porter, Sable Otay, and the other one I can't think of right now. But in any event, they are all not excluded now. So the 4 members whose 4-year terms are up this year will be running for re-election, but these 5 won't have to do that. So that's big news this afternoon. And the chancellor said in her opinion that the Shelby County Commission overstepped their grounds in all of this. Now, I wonder what you all think about this in terms of the dynamics, because a lot of folks were happy to see this because it was kind of like a pseudo recall after what happened to Dr. Fagans a couple of years ago. So here we go. But in any event, that was the big news that broke this afternoon. Also, if you had a chance to watch the Super Bowl yesterday, what'd you think? Seattle the Seattle Seahawks, rather, are the Super Bowl champions for this year. And a lot of conversation about the halftime show. Bad Bunny is his name, and he was the halftime entertainment at the Super Bowl. And Brent, I hate to say this, I don't see anything on my Facebook Live that says we're on Facebook tonight, because normally I'm seeing it live. Now, it could be me, because I don't see it on the screen there, so I don't know. But we'll get that worked out in just a couple of minutes. But yeah, Bad Bunny performed yesterday, and a lot of folks had a lot of opinions about all of this, especially on social media. But it looks to me as if many people were very, very happy to see that performance. And they thought that it was a very good job, well done. In terms of, a lot of folks said, of course, if you don't speak Spanish, you're not going to understand it. And a lot of folks said, well, we don't understand it. But we really enjoyed it. There was a lot of energy. There was a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of passion. And, Bad Bunny is a Puerto Rican a singer. He does not sing in English. He uses his native language, and he is a superstar. So that means a lot of folks in this country are digging him as well. Anyway, I wanted to kind of throw that out there and see what y'all thought about all of that. How did you feel about that? As soon as we get Facebook Live up, you can comment on that as well as watch the broadcast also. So let us take a break, and when we come back, we will begin the broadcast. And we'll get into it on this Monday evening after a beautiful day in the city. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. You know who you are. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Jerry, and you're listening to WYXR 91.7 FM Memphis. My show, Without a Net Radio, coming to you from 8 to 10 p.m. every Sunday night. I'll be playing you some good music. Tune in and listen.
This is Brandy of Putting on Airs. Do you appreciate a good sad country song? If so, tune in at 9 a.m. on the first Sunday of each month where I host Sad Sack Sunday. I play only the saddest country songs and we get to waller around in our feelings a little bit together. That's right here on WYXR 91.7 FM Memphis.
Hey, this is Mike from Somewhere There. Tune in every Wednesday from 6 to 7. We'll go on a journey across genres and decades, only here at WYXR 91.7 FM Memphis.
Hello, friends. Are you craving a soundtrack for the supernatural? The Witching Hour is your answer. Tune in every Monday, 11 p.m. to midnight. Lock your doors, dim the lights, and let the music summon the spirits. Only on WYXR.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this beautiful Monday evening in the city. Chip with you. And as I stated at the beginning of all of this, and I celebrate very talented folks. I have a lot of them on this show. And my first guest in particular has written a fascinating book on the life of Reverend James Lawson Jr. He was a pillar in the civil rights movement and great in part the 1968 sanitation workers strike. He was the primary architect of that and brought Dr. King here, and just a fascinating man and a fascinating story. And my first guest helped to co-author a book called Nonviolence a memoir of resistance, agitation, and love. Please welcome to the show, Emily Yellin. Emily, it's good to see you, my friend. How are you?
I'm well. Hi, Chip.
Hi. So congratulations on the book. And,
Thank you.
and I know that, you told me offline, we were talking a little bit about all this, and you knew Reverend, you knew him, Reverend Lawson, pretty much all your life. Is that true?
That's right. I met him when I was 5 years old, and his son John and I were in first grade together at Memphis State Campus School.
Isn't that something? How about that? Yeah.
So I've known him my whole life, and then my parents and he and his wife were friends, so they used to come to our house for dinner, all sorts of things. So I've known him all that while, and then as an adult, a couple of times our paths crossed, but one of the most significant was I was writing for the New York Times covering the South, and he was involved in getting trying to get James Earl Ray a new trial.
Oh my!
And so I actually interviewed him as an adult, and I'm the New York Times, but I'm looking at him thinking, he was a first grade parent in my elementary school.
How about that? So Emily, this book obviously it chronicles a very difficult time in our history, and I guess my first question is, how did the project come about? Was it from you? Was it from him? How did all of this happen?
Yeah, so I had interviewed him in 2018 for a project I did on the sanitation workers and their families called 1,300 Men. And he was the only non-sanitation worker I interviewed. So that's another time we reconnected. When the pandemic came, we were going to do more interviews of former sanitation workers and their families, but we couldn't because of the pandemic. So I'm thinking, what do I do? And I thought of Reverend Lawson. I called him up and said, hey, would you be interested in working with me, maybe doing your memoir? And it took him a couple of weeks. He talked to his family and he came back and he said yes. And so we started talking on the phone a couple of times a week during the pandemic. And it was a great thing that probably wouldn't have happened were it not for the pandemic, because we were both home and able to do it.
That's very interesting. And of course, the title of it, Nonviolent, which was the theme of the day back in those very tumultuous times. But I'm sure that part of this journey that you went on with him as to how he got into the movement, because he was very influential in all of this, and how he apparently he was very close to Dr. King.
Right.
How did all of that come about?
Well, he was he was born in Ohio, so he wasn't one of the Southern ministers that ran the civil rights movement or was leading it.
Sure.
He came down here specifically to address segregation, racism, economic inequities. And he was versed, by the time he came here, he was almost 30. He was versed in nonviolence. He had lived in India for 3 years on a mission, and then traveled through Africa in the mid-60s, meeting with independence leaders in all the countries trying to get away from colonialism. And so he already had a lot of experience, and he is the one who brought nonviolence to the people that were the foot soldiers, and some of whom became leaders, like Diane Nash, John Lewis, Bernard Lafayette. In Nashville, he lived in Nashville first and was at Vanderbilt in graduate school, and he held workshops on nonviolent direct action in the basement of Clark Methodist Church right next to Fisk College. And so he really was in the heart of all of this, and he is the one who trained them in nonviolence, and they then went and desegregated downtown Nashville.
Wow, that is absolutely, you're talking real American history. This is real life. This is real life stuff. And as I was thinking about this before you came on tonight, and I just thought to myself, I said, this is the kind of history that people need to understand, whether you were born there or not. This is the kind of book that people need to read to understand how significant things were during that very dangerous time. Here in Memphis, Tennessee, of course, you're talking about the sanitation strike, sanitation workers strike. 2 of them were crushed by one of the trucks, and this had become. I would imagine for him during that particular time, there was an awful lot of tension, and there was an awful lot of, I would imagine, fear in some circumstances. Am I correct in that?
You are, but you know what's incredible about him and why I think this book is so important now. I'll say the first part and then I'll answer your question, but he is the through line. His story is the through line from really Jim Crow through the civil rights movement. And he only died a year and a half ago,
Right,
right? And
right.
he was doing the work. And the day before he died, he told his son, I got to get out there. We got to start a new student movement, right?
Mm,
So he advised the movement for Black Lives. He worked in immigration reform. So yes, there was fear, but one of the incredible things about this man is that he was so grounded in what he was doing. I think some of that did have to do with being a minister and religious, but he was so grounded in his identity, right? And he also was very grounded in the idea that nonviolence is a force more powerful than violence. Nonviolence is love in action. And I think that grounded him during periods where other people might have wilted. He rose, right? And his steadfastness and his strength really is what's so incredible through the whole book. And it was such a amazing thing to hear him and to learn about it. And 1968, you're right. It was a terrible time, and it was also a time of great, but in Memphis, what we saw and what I think is really important to say, two things. One is it was a beloved community that went around the sanitation workers, as they were marching and going on strike and not knowing when it was going to be over, and the city was immovable. The community, the Black community, I want to say really clearly, not the white community in Memphis, the Black community circled around these men, raised money, made food, made sure they ate, made sure their families were fed, made sure they were clothed and warm and everything. And so that's one thing. And then also, I think this was the time when the civil rights movement and the labor movement came together, because the labor movement had been mostly white.
right.
And this moment in Memphis was pivotal. And King and he had had discussions the year before in 1967 on retreats from the SCLC, saying economic justice is really our goal. We desegregated because we had to do that first, but that was just the first step.
Right.
And honestly, Chip, the rest of his life for 56 years, that's what he worked toward. And he was fighting against police brutality. He was fighting, for economic justice and immigration rights and labor rights. So this Reverend James Lawson got to live 56 years longer than his friend Martin Luther King, and they were the same age. So he died at 95. And if Martin Luther King had lived, I'm not going to presume, but you could imagine, right?
Yeah.
That he might have been doing just the things that Reverend Lawson continued to do for another 56 years.
That's extraordinarily interesting, and one of the things that I've been thinking about, and I generally do, is the state of things now today, and I wonder, as time had progressed with Reverend Lawson, and seeing some of the things that he was seeing today with us as a people, with us as a country, how we treat each other, and I often ask the question, what would Dr. King think about all of the work and sacrifice that they put in back in those very terrible days of the 50s and 60s? But to see where we are as a nation now, and I'm sure in your conversation with Reverend Lawson, I wonder what his thought process was about things today. Things today.
He was seeing it, right? So that's the thing. We don't even have to ask for him anyway. He was seeing it. And, there's a chapter toward the end of the book where I kind of put all of his comments about now, because we would be talking about something else and he'd start talking about President Trump or whatever. And he has commentary that really does address this. But I think what he would say and what he did say is, on one level, he's not at all Pollyannish about how horrible racism and economic injustice and ICE. He's not saying it's not bad, but he said it is healthy because this this stuff has been here all along, as I'm sure you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's been here forever, and it's coming out, and that's actually healthy. It's a reckoning for the country. So he saw some hope in that. He also would tell everyone this is a long game. Marching is one aspect of nonviolent direct action. It's an important one. It's the public facing demonstration to show the issues. But there are a lot of other pieces, and it takes a commitment. The way I say it, my favorite quote from one of my favorite quotes is, nobody's free till everybody's free. So I'm in this for life. It's not too late for anybody. Nobody's too young or too old to be in this for life. And that's what Reverend Lawson's trajectory really shows, is how do you fight for the world that we want over a lifetime? And this is quite a lifetime that he led. And so I think he would, he saw January 6th, and it made him think of being in Birmingham in 1963. And
Wow.
He talks about that in the book.
Wow.
And he watched that from his home in California and was sort of overwhelmed. And I will say this, and I'm going to be political, okay?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
He said that Donald Trump has a hole down the middle of his soul. And that was what he said. He's talked about him in many ways, but I thought that was a really important thing. And he also, I will say, he also said that about our governor, Bill Lee, right? And his feeling is that you should never imitate the ways of your oppressor, and that nonviolence is a way to imagine a better world without doing that, without harming people, without being domineering, and without dominating and being cruel. Because I think he really saw that what's going on now is just government cruelty. And that's a really important theme in the book of how do you cope with that? How do you deal with it? And I think people think nonviolence is just being passive. It is the most active that I can imagine of how you stand up against this. And he would say nonviolence is actually more radical than violence.
Yeah. And I can understand that. Before I let you go, how can people get this book? When does it come out?
It comes out next Tuesday. Is that right? Or the 17th. Right?
Yeah, right.
And there is going to be a big event at the Civil Rights Museum on Friday, February 20th. His son, John, is going to be in town, who I went to elementary school with. He lives in Los Angeles. He's a Superior Court judge. And musical guests. It's going to be an amazing gathering. We're going to have some people who were in the movement and their children, who families, we'll say. And so that's going to be a great thing. You can get it at anywhere you buy your books, but you can pre-order it now. And if you're lucky, I think some of the places will deliver it on the day that it comes out, which is the 17th. Or you can come to the Civil Rights Museum. If you go to their website, there's a place to register for that event. And we're going to have music from the movement. It's going to be a real celebration. It's going to be the Memphis book launch, and I'm very excited. We're going to go to New York first, Nashville second, and Memphis third.
All right.
So it'll be coming home.
Right. Well, listen, Emily Yellin, ladies and gentlemen, co-author of the new book Resistance. I'm Nonviolent. Nonviolent, a memoir of resistance and agitation and love.
It's right behind me here, this book.
That's it right there, ladies and gentlemen.
If you don't mind, Chip, I got to do it.
All right, there you do.
There
do your thing. That's it.
That's a picture of Reverend Lawson with Martin Luther King, and he was then called Stokely Carmichael, and it's the Meredith March, and that's in Hernando, Mississippi, the day after James Meredith was shot. And it's just an amazing, amazing photo. And we knew that was going to be the cover of the book.
Wow. Thank you, Emily. Thank you for writing the book. And yes, there it is. Thank you for writing the book. And thank you for coming on tonight. And all the best to you down the road. Really appreciate you taking time tonight. Really do. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely that. Emily Yellin, ladies and gentlemen. And get the book. Get the book. If you care anything about history of this country, get that book. We thank Emily for being with us. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we will continue this ride we like to call the Monday edition. It is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest? Or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Hi there, 1D here on Gospel Talk back in the day, playing great gospel music and talking to artists from the past. Tune me in every Saturday from 12 o'clock noon until 2 o'clock p.m. on 91.7 FM Memphis.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening in the city. Chip with you. And, a lot of things that we hear, a lot of people talk about is organ transplant. There's a lot of folks out here who are in desperate need of an organ because, quite honestly, things happen to us and we need the help from other folks. My next guest is someone who can relate directly to that in terms of being a living kidney recipient, which means, ladies and gentlemen, she was very close to the end. And had it not been for the kindness of others, we may not be talking to her right now. Please welcome Stacy Hobson to the show. Stacy, it's great to see you, and thanks for coming on the show tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So, your journey is not unlike many other folks who have taken the same journey. You were having issues. First of all, let me back up. How did you realize, or when did you realize in your life that you did have an issue and it pertained to your kidney?
Okay. So about 8 years ago, I went to the doctor for actually issues related to my foot.
Oh, okay.
And they did my, because I have been having issues with my foot for years. And my doctor, my primary care doctor, did some blood work and MRI and things like that. And he saw some things going on with my blood that, wasn't right. So he wanted me to go to the emergency room for them to verify the results because whatever doctors, weren't available at that time. And he wanted this looked at immediately. So when I got there, they saw that, and this was like a total unrelated issue, but they saw that my kidney function was, declining.
Sure. From,
like I was like at stage 1 or stage 2 kidney disease at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had saw my primary care doctor like the month before, because it had declined so rapidly, they wanted to get me in to the hospital. They said I would be there for about 3 days.
Okay.
And 3 days turned into 30 days.
Oh my. Okay.
So what happened in there, I was given a medicine that I was allergic to, and that damaged my kidneys even further. So by the time I left the hospital, I was in stage 4 kidney disease, or actually stage 5. However, I didn't find that out until 4 years later, until maybe like 2021, around that 2022. That's when I found out how serious my kidney disease was.
It's pretty bad stuff. So obviously you were in line, and normally when kidneys start to fail, a lot of folks end up on dialysis while they're waiting for the possibility of getting a new organ. But you didn't go on dialysis, did you? You had. So tell us a little bit about that part of it.
Yeah. So my kidneys were functioning at about 15% at the time.
Yeah.
And my doctor was recommended based on my kidneys, based on the what he was seeing, that I need to do dialysis, but I refused because I was feeling fine. I did have issues, like, for example, I was tired sometimes,
Sure.
but I'm a real estate broker, so I can kind of schedule my naps. I was, I had foamy urine, but it was clear. So, I mean, it wasn't per se bothering me. It wasn't, so I had symptoms, but what I did was counter my symptoms. So I did a lot of holistic things that, I was holding fluid. So I bought a vibrational plate to kind of reduce that.
Yes.
I started taking herbal teas and supplements, and it became my part-time job researching my elements and things that I could do to make sure I stayed healthy enough so I could do the things that I love.
So, when it got down to a place where, an operation, a decision had to be made, a life or death situation had to be made, you found a living donor. Now, a lot of people don't know or really hadn't heard a lot about living donors, and because mostly the donors are deceased, and you get a deceased.
Right.
But obviously, it sounds to me like you had done your research in reference to this. I mean, obviously, a living donor would hopefully provide a longer lifespan for you.
Correct.
You did find a donor. And I think I saw a picture of you with her at one point. Did I see that?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah. And how did that come about? How long a process was it before you were able to find a living donor that matched you? Because trust me, I've been through this, and there's a lot that goes into it.
Yes. Well, honestly, again, my story is a little different with that because since I refused dialysis,
Yes, ma'am.
my doctor put me on the transplant list because he said at some point in time, you're going to need a transplant. I didn't even tell my family until a week before the transplant. So I never reached out personally to anyone about that. I prayed, I put it in God's hands, and that's what happened with that. But my donor, her name is Jenny. I call her my best friend, my sister now, but her name is Jenny.
Sure.
So what happened was she said that she saw, like, just scrolling on Facebook, how important kidney donations and things like that was.
Sure.
So she just said, maybe I could do that. So she went and got tested, and her process took about 5 or 6 months. And that's how I ended up with, her kidney. We were a match, but we had never met prior to November the 7th. My transplant was August the 12th.
Oh, last year or
2025.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Last year. Yes. So we met November of 2025 for the first time. And she said that basically God just put it on her heart, to give. And I end up being that recipient. And I'm just so grateful, for that, because she's what's considered an altruistic donor. So that's a donor that gives just out the kindness of her heart.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
No one asked her to, no one, she was being obedient to God, who put it on her heart to do so. And I was praying to God for a kidney, and that's how we met.
So obviously, since this life-saving transplant, you are an ambassador for the Mid-South Transplant Organization. You also you created an organization, did you not? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. So I actually wrote a book called Yield, Healed, and Thrive. I wrote a book about my process because I know there's a lot of other Stacys out there in my shoes that have went through this process. And like I said, I was dealing with end-stage renal disease for 8 years, and I never fell ill, never had a hospital visit.
Yeah, right.
So I wrote about that. So also when I was on the transplant table, I was like so amazed at someone that would selflessly give, their kidney to a complete stranger. And I was just thinking, like, God, how could I pay this forward? My original goal was just to keep this private, but then how would God get the glory if I did
There you
that?
go. That's it.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so I wrote the book and I started my own foundation, Yield, Heal, Thrive, which will be launching in March. And our goal is to assist kidney transplant recipients as well as donors with hardship resources, as well as spiritual, physical, mental care, because this disease affects everything.
It does, and clearly you were touched. But the one thing that you said that I really tapped into is how could how can the goodness of God be expressed if I don't express it through the experiences that I went through. And I think that is really the important part in being an advocate now, which you clearly are an advocate for people to do this. And before you go, just say a little bit about what you have learned in this process, and more importantly, why it is important for us to reach outside of ourselves in order to help someone who needs it.
Well, I've learned that kidney disease is a silent killer that affects about 33% of African Americans and about 24% of Hispanic Americans. And I've learned that it's not talked about enough. I think like breast cancer awareness, they've done a great job in making sure that, we do mammograms and things like that. I want the same thing for kidney disease. I want for us to make sure we know our numbers, because it's a silent killer, and you have this. I had it and never experienced, symptoms at first. So that's one of the things that I've learned through this process. I didn't hear about kidney disease until I was affected. But and I hope and pray that moving forward that people will continue to pass it on. I think that God have us here to be cohesive and to share with others. We are our brother's keeper. So I hope that people will pass it on, their organs, their their knowledge, their wisdom to others.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I'm so happy for you, and that now you are paying it, as you said, that I love the term, paying it forward. You're paying it forward now, and hopefully there was, through conversation, through maybe somebody seeing this or hearing this, it may trigger someone to take a step in the right direction, because there are many people, as you said, kidney disease is for the most part a silent killer until it gets to the point to where you're almost out of here when you start to see signs, and that's the scary part. But we can help others, and you're clearly dedicated to doing that through the book that you wrote, through the foundation that you wrote. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy that you're feeling better. I wish you continued health, and thank you for being a blessing. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Stacy Hobson, ladies and gentlemen, that's a story, and that's a testimony. She is a living kidney donor. A living kidney recipient, and I'm telling you, she's doing wonderfully. She looks great. She's doing well, and more importantly, she is sharing her blessing with other folks. Thank you for being on the show. Let's take another break. When we come back, let's shift gears and talk a little bit about education. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. Don't you dare go away. We're not done yet. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page, and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Hi, Jenny. Hi, Amy. We host Sonosphere every Monday from 4 to 5. So tune in on WYXR 91.7.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening, a beautiful Monday night in the city. And listen, my next guest has, ever since I've known, this guy dedicates his life to our young people and the betterment of our young folks. So it is very fitting, the job that he has today. He is the executive director of youth services for the city of Memphis. Not only that, but he is also a special assistant to Mayor Paul Young. He is Mr. Brian Harris. And B, it's good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Yep, I'm doing well, sir. Always good to see you.
It's always good to see you and to have you on the big broadcast. So, you know, this position to me was tailor-made just for you because, like I said, you have always been grounded in helping to develop and change the lives of these young folks. You've been doing this for a very, very long time. Why is that element of your personality, amongst all the other things that you do, so important to you?
Well, you know, that's a great question, Chip, and thanks for that question. Is that, you know, I've always been raised to pay it forward. And my parents always said, you know, we have to look out for those that are coming up behind us. And I've always taken a passion to our youth. I'm a former Boy Scout, Eagle Scout, Cub Scout at Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church, while I still attend. And I can always remember the elders reaching back to help us. And I think it's a calling because if we truly going to really have a great, strong city, we have to invest in our main infrastructure, which is our young people.
Excuse me. Yeah, and having said that, and I couldn't agree more, you know, there was a time, and even in some circles, that people look at young folks in many ways as a burden, and you know we don't get involved like we should because we think they don't appreciate it or something to that effect. You know, being around them every day, it seems like they are looking for individuals who have faith in them as young people, and you're not afraid to get down. And I've always said this. You need to. We spend a lot of time talking above folks' head and talking, you know, away from them instead of talking to them. And you have always been a proponent of meeting them where they are. Why is that so important?
Well, it's so important because, again, there are no big I's and little U's. That we're truly going to change the trajectory of youth, regardless of zip code. You have to come down and meet them where they are because they will listen. One thing people always say is young people lack discipline. And I disagree with that. Young people want discipline. But again, it depends on how you approach them. If they see you're authentic, you're coming from a place of love and a place that you want to see them be better, they will listen to you and get behind you and hold you accountable to making sure you continue to walk with them.
That there's that trust factor there. They have to be able to trust you in order to realize that you're looking out for their best interest,
That's correct.
Yeah, and I hear that in every word you say. One of the big programs in terms of the young people, and I know you had a goal coming into this when you first got this a couple of years ago. What was it that about this particular program and the importance of it did you take on? I mean, when you walked in, you said, you know what, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and we're going to sort of change some trajectories and some roads here. What was that?
Yeah, the biggest thing, you know, when I was awarded the role, the biggest thing I wanted to do was change the status quo. That is not about, you know, when we look at things in terms of numbers, people often say, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. And it's really both, because, you know, when I saw that what we were averaging before I came in, I said, we need to grow this because so many young people need more exposure. You think about this, the young person who are in school, they're out of school for 10 weeks. And so 10 weeks, they're in the community, they're in their neighborhood. What if we gave them something positive to do and expose them to a business, a company, an organization where they can intern to put money in their pockets, but more importantly, expose them to what's possible. And so, you know, Mayor Young and I talked this year, and I said, Mayor, I hit a record number last year, summer 25. We put 1,800 young people in jobs.
Wow.
From 14 to 22.
Wow.
He said, Brian, if you can do 1,800, I want to see you do 3,000. And I said, I'll take on that challenge. And we've been working towards it, and we're going to deliver on that number.
Would you say publicly where you are in that process so far in terms of, we're talking about the employ program. I want you to get a little bit more into that. But in terms of numbers and that challenge, where are you? You've accepted it. Have you exceeded it?
Yeah, we have. This is the thing I'm proud to say publicly, that we have a new system where I can check applications in real time. You know, we have to embrace technology.
Yes, sir.
And so as of today, we're at 3,600 young people who have applied to work this summer. 3,600 people.
That's amazing. And what does that tell you about the need and the want?
What that tells me is that despite of what people believe about our young people, what they don't want, this number shows they're hungry, they're eager, and they do want to do well. And for us to have a Mayor Young, that says, hey, we're going to provide them an opportunity, not just the mayor, the city council, and open this door to take on more. It says that they believe in our future, and we're going to invest in them.
When you set forth this goal, and of course, congratulations on the number, and it's obviously going to grow. And we're talking about the Employ program, and one of the things that I want people to understand before you go is exactly what is the concept of the Employ program, and how important are the partnerships that you are developing with these businesses that are going to employ these young folks?
Yeah, so the concept of Employ is Memphis Employs. It's basically a 6-week program that your tax dollars pay for. And let me repeat that. These are city or Memphis tax dollars that are allocated to make sure young people are exposed beyond the zip code. Now, when it comes to the business partners, as you spoke to, that we have corporations, we have small businesses, and they are in various sectors. For example, if a young person is interested in culinary, we have businesses that have signed up there where they can intern. Hospitality and tourism businesses, health sciences, transportation, logistics, government. So any sector you can think of, these businesses have stepped up and said, hey, we want to take young people. And the good thing is a lot of times our young people, especially 14 to 18, are in the discovery mode.
Sure.
Where they want to find out what they want to do. And for them to be able to go on and pre-select that, hey, I want to learn more about communications and radio broadcasting, they can select that particular industry and intern for 6 weeks. That's clearly exposure that can carry them for a lifetime. And that's the gist of the program.
Yeah, and it's a launch too, as you just said, because they get something that they really truly enjoy, and man, who knows how far they will go in order to do this. So what are the qualifications? Somebody's watching right now. I'm gonna get my kid signed up for this program. Let us know how that works.
Yeah, so they can go on to memphistn.gov,
okay,
which is the City of Memphis website, and click on Youth Services. And we made this so convenient. You don't have to go find it. There's a pop-up. As soon as you click on Youth Services, the Employ pop-up will come up. If you are a young person or a parent or guardian, you can click on Apply to the program. And the good news, too, if you're a business out there listening, if you say, hey, I want to take young people, the other link, hyperlink, is right under that one. So very simple, streamlined process. All the things you need to do are there. And once you apply, we'll take it from there here in the office.
Brian Harris, ladies and gentlemen, he is the executive director of youth services for the city of Memphis, talking about the Employ program. It's very easy to access. Go to the city of Memphis website and follow the prompts and the instructions and go for it. My friend, it's great to see you. Congratulations on all of this. If anybody can be successful at this and even exceed expectations, it's you. So all the best. I'll be checking in with you later on this year. We'll find out how things went.
Man, I appreciate the Chip as always. Have a great evening, bro.
You too, my friend. I appreciate that. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Harris doing big things for the city of Memphis. And again, that puts a wrap on this broadcast. Really good show tonight. I hope you thought so as well. Don't go away. Coming up next is my guy, Bren Butler, ladies and gentlemen, the host of Event Horizon, which airs in just a couple of minutes here on WYXR. Bren, we were talking before the show, and this is the week coming up. This is the week for lovers, right? This is the Valentine's week and everything. Now, your music is I don't think Valentine's when I hear your music.
No, I would agree. No.
But I mean, you're gonna have something fresh for us tonight. What kind of mood are you in musically tonight? What can we expect this evening?
Tonight, we will start with some punk stuff. Kind of going throughout all those subgenres, getting into a decent amount of hip hop in the second half, and closing with some grunge. Don't want to spoil too much, but I saw that Sinners movie just a couple days ago, and I got something from the soundtrack on that towards the end.
Okay. Look at Brand hitting up Sinners and all this kind of stuff. So
I was late to it. It was a good movie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of folks. You know what? I've seen the movie. And I'll be honest with you, I'm still trying to process stuff. Maybe I'll see it again, but it's getting a lot of buzz. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, don't miss it. Don't leave the station here. Bren and Event Horizon is up next, and as he plays us out, listen, it's been a great show. I really appreciate you. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything we do to try to put together something decent for you to listen to, and I hope that you enjoy it. If you do like what we do here at Real Talk Memphis, go ahead and tell somebody. Tune in. Hey, check out that Chip Dude Monday evenings from 6 to 7 p.m. over there on WYXR, trying to make stuff happen. Really appreciate the audience. Really appreciate your support. Listen, go out and make a difference in your life and in somebody else's life. We need all the help we can get around here. And as I always say, thank you, Memphis and Shelby County, for your support. And if the Lord says so, I'll be back here next week, same time, same station, try to do it all over again, just a little bit better. So for all of us here at Real Talk Memphis, thank you. We appreciate you. And as I always say on my way out the door, we are out. See you soon.